Hello. Do you remember your first time? It was so exciting. There was electricity in the air. You reached out with your hands and you slowly touched those beautiful pages, turning one after another after another. What was on the next page? What exciting painting was coming up? What exciting creature was coming up? And then eventually you get to the equipment section and you look at this full page of weapons. And oh my God, how do you pick? Which one are you going to use? You might have wondered, like I did, I wonder how long I'd have to play to use all of them. Will I eventually get all of them? Which ones are better? Which ones aren't good? I'd love to say that that experience turned out, well, really exciting. The memory is more than it is. But over time, you learn that it was a little bit of a waste of time. It was a little bit of a letdown. As you looked at that weapon list, not many of them meant very much. Most of them were inferior to others. And, I missed those days when I thought, ooh, I bet all of these are good. And, nowadays they keep all the same weapons that they used to have. And I think it's largely a nostalgia thing. People would be unhappy if they didn't see, a short sword or something like that. They'd be grumpy. And if you want to look at a historical perspective, the gladius, which is basically a short sword, that's, been around since the 3rd century BCE, right? And the German longsword is around 1500. That's 1800 years of technological development between those. And we don't always think of it like that. We're just like, well, it's a sword. Swords are about the same. But the truth is they're not. However, in our setting, Invictus, we have a whole bunch of worlds that were literally pressed together. So we have different, quote, technological levels between all these different fantasy societies. And we didn't want to have inferior weapons. So we've sat down and we've really carefully built our weapons to make sure that each of them has a purpose and each of them has a place that it is used. We basically developed a point system to build weapons, and, well, we've used that to build everything, so everything's about equal. It doesn't mean that in play they will be, but we've made our best darn attempt to do so. So if you want to have that wonder, check us out. We have an actual play that you can find right there. And in that actual play, you'll see this game playing out. You're going to see a plausible game with magic that makes sense, that's reasonable. We'd love to have you see what we're doing. I appreciate your time. Thanks a lot. Goodbye for now.